All attend.
All right. Hello, everybody. This is Jeff Gibby, the Director of Sales here at MetaStock. I want to welcome you to the webinar. Thanks for coming. Today, we're going to be doing a webinar with Edward Stemplevich on MQ Trender. But first, we're going to read a legal disclaimer. So, Edward, if you could, there we go. Today's demonstration is designed to instruct you on using MetaStock and the accompanying software plugins. It's not a recommendation to buy or sell, but rather guidelines to interpreting and using specific indicators of features within the software. The information, software and techniques presented today should only be used by investors who are aware of the risk inherent in trading. MetaStock shall have no liability for any investment decisions based on the use of the software, any trading strategies, or any information provided in connection with the company. So I want to say welcome, everybody. Thanks for coming today. Today we do have Edward Stemplevich. He's going to be talking about the MQ Trender Pro and the value charts, two very popular add-ons. Edward's been with us for a number of years now. He does a really, really good job, and he's in our sales team, and he's very, very knowledgeable about the markets, and he's just going to do a fantastic job with today's webinar. So with that being said, I'm going to get out of the way. Edward, the floor is yours.
All righty, thank you for that. Can you hear me okay? Just to be sure that I'm good here.
You're coming through loud and clear.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, thank you. So appreciate that introduction there. Again, my name is Edward. I want to talk today about a couple of add-ons that I actually use myself in the markets here. I trade lightly. I don't have too much time to trade, but when I do, I often go to Trender and Value Chart. These are the two add-ons right here. They were both created by MicroQuant. And they actually both provide some very good information, and they have a way of being able to using them together or separately. But overall, they provide a lot of information on the charts in the markets. And so I wanted to bring to you guys today some information on how you could potentially improve your charting to find great entry points and to overall get better opportunities in the markets. So a little bit of background on the MicroQuant here. First of all, there isn't going to be too many slides today. I kind of want to just jump into the software and start showing charts because there is a lot to cover, but I'm going to leave this up just so you have a little bit of background. Thomas Wood.
Hey, Edward.
He's actually, yep, go ahead.
Your audio is not great. It sounds like something's hitting your mic a lot.
That's really
Are you using a wireless headset, or is it wired, or what's going on?
No, I am not using a wireless headset. It is an actual headset with a mic that comes up.
I guess we'll just carry on. Maybe you might want.
Okay, I wonder.
Yeah.
Maybe it's me moving around a lot, like my head kind of. Let's see. I'll try to. Does it still sound like that as of right now?
A little bit. Maybe we'll get some feedback from folks. I hear it. I'm assuming other viewers are hearing it.
Yeah,
Maybe it's just me.
If anyone can give me some feedback to let me know the audio sounds fine or not, that would be awesome. I definitely don't want to go give an annoying webinar where the audio sucks. That would not be cool.
Okay. Well, keep on keeping at it, and I'll see if I can.
Just. Okay.
All right. Sorry
Sounds good, and thank you. So, anyways, we'll continue about Thomas Wood. He was basically a professional trader for quite a while, and traded personally as well, but traded as a hedge fund manager and had a career in a wealth management firm. and then created a hedge fund at the age of 26, and eventually settled on to be a head trader at MicroQuant. And they have come up with these two trading systems, and they're not brand new. They've had these trading systems for quite a while, but they're brand new, pretty brand new to MetaStock. Value Charts has been with us for quite a while. I think about a year and a half, and then the Trender 2.0 has been about half a year with us. So fairly new to MetaStock, both great systems to have a part of MetaStock. But let's kind of carry on here, and I hope you guys can still hear me okay. So before we jump into charts, I just kind of want to explain what we're going to be looking at, and then I'll re-explain it inside the charts. With the MQ Trender 2.0, the big thing about that is it helps you identify a trend. As you can see all the colors here, there's 7 colors total, and these all have to do right with inside the chart. It's going to be the price bars. Anyways, you can see you got your light red, which is strongly bullish, bearish, and is for the bright red, and then strongly bullish is the bright green. And then you have the colors in between, blue being very neutral, sort of indecisive, basically. And then there's also gray and yellow, which, when you're in a trend, trends can be very extended, and that's basically what gray means. So it's kind of like a warning.
But it's
okay.
It's I think it's almost maybe
it's almost
just check the connection, unplug your mic again, and plug it back in. Make sure there's no loose connections or anything, and we can give you just. I'm sorry, folks. We just there's a lot of ghosts in the machine right now with our audio for some reason. And again, we have so many audios at so many locations. Edward's right now at his home, so you can't really control what goes on there.
Yeah, sorry about that. Can you hear me better now? I just did the unplug and replug.
Yes, 1,000 times better.
Did that really?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, maybe I should back up here.
Made the problem go away.
Okay, so it looks like it must have just been a connection thing on my computer. I'm so sorry about that, you guys. I'm going to back up a little bit here just to make sure you guys...
And I would go ahead and just make sure you don't move you around too much, and it sounds fine. It sounds perfect now, actually. Okay, perfect. Well, glad we got that fixed. Okay, so with the Trender add-on that we're going to look at first, what I was basically explaining is you're going to notice 7 colors on the chart, and those colors will identify what the trend is doing, what the bias of the trend is doing. You got your strongly bearish, which will be bright red, your strongly bullish, which is bright green, and then everything in between. And then, of course, you have your sideways markets, that's blue. And then if you're in a trend and it's starting to get very overextended, meaning it's been super bullish for a long time, it's going to turn gray, letting you know. That way you can kind of adjust stop losses and just be prepared and cautious in case it tries to reverse. And then you also have yellow, which will let you know, like, hey, time to put a stop loss in case it's going to start turning around. So that's kind of how Trender Pro works. And then for value charts, let me go backwards. Value charts is much different. Value charts, the way they work, this one is they base the current price action on value. And the idea behind this is to know when to get into a trade. I know one of the things that I suffer, and maybe many of you guys do as well, is that, when you find let's say indicators or something that helps you identify a trade, sometimes we get into the trade and it's pretty much at the top, or we don't necessarily know if we want to wait for it to fall a little bit before we get in and whatnot. But this value indicator is designed to help you with that. And I'll show you many ways how you can use this value indicator, but you'll see that the value indicator has 3 colors. We have red, yellow, green, yellow, red. The red at the top will identify when the current price is extremely overvalued. Now, what MicroQuant has discovered is when something is in an extreme bias mode, like it's extremely overvalued, or the red at the very bottom of the chart there is extremely undervalued, they found that the stock typically will turn around and go toward
there's the fair value, which is the green, with a 90% plus success rate is what they have found. And they actually have it patented and everything. And they had this value indicator vetted by 3 PhDs, and it was that they all agreed that it works, and it provides very good information on when to get into trades. And I'm going to show you how to use both trender and value charts together and separately to find great trades and to get into trades at good times. So I think that's that. Now we'll just kind of jump into MetaStock here. I just want to start looking at some charts. But before I begin, I do want to mention that if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. I'm happy to answer questions. Shortly, I'm going to ask for some chart symbols because I want to actually show you guys charts that you look at yourself, just so you can see what it looks like there. So please don't be afraid to ask anything and recommend charts that we should look at. But here we go. Let's jump into MetaStock. Okay, so for those that have never seen MetaStock before, I'm going to just kind of go in there really quick and open a chart. There's a Power Console button here that you would click, and there's a chart tab. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to type in Apple. We're just going to pull up a very simple chart at first. So let's do that. AAPL.O. That's the Apple symbol. Oh, I better make that a capital. Okay. And for those of you, just to kind of quickly brush over this, in the chart tab here, typically you have, you know what, it's showing that I am not online anymore, and I don't know why it's doing that. I might have to restart my MetaStock. Let me see. Nope, never mind, I should be good. Okay, so typically you can extend these open charts by extending these trees, custom online data list or public data list, or you can type in the symbol if you know exactly where you want to go. Okay, works just fine. There's also an instrument search function, so you can type in a company or you know, and kind of search for a symbol. If you don't know what the symbol is, you can search by company name, vice versa. Those are a few ways you can open up the charts. We're going to open up this Apple chart on a daily interval. You can always change that. If you have the real-time software, you can choose minute charts, 5 minute, doesn't matter. Tick charts. These add-ons will work with all of the above time frames. And then we're going to just do daily for now. And what we're going to do is we're going to apply the trender template. I'm going to browse for it because that's faster. It's a new feature of 17.5. You can actually browse for a template. So I'm going to do MQ. This is the MQ Trender Pro Black Edition. So it's a black background, and we're going to open up the chart. Okay. So immediately you're going to see those colors that I talked about. We talked about the 2 greens. We got a dark green, bright green. We also have the yellow. We also have the gray that I discussed when something's overextended. We have the blue, which is neutral. It's undecided whether we're up, down, you know, so we're just going to say sideways. And then we have the reds as well, as you can see over here on the left side. Light red and then darker red. With the add-ons, they actually come with an indicator which is known as the momentum indicator, and I think that's something I forgot to show, which is okay because there's just going to be a slide of the indicator itself, but I'll show it right here. With the momentum indicator, it's a lot like the MACD, but they've actually enhanced it to work well with these trading systems. So it's more aggressive. It's awesome at spotting divergences. It's good at letting you know about the power of the trend, obviously. And it goes well with these. You can use them well with these signals too. Immediately, you're going to know that with the trender add-on, you have long entries, that's your green arrows. And then you also have the long entry exits, which is the red arrow after the green. There's also yellow arrows that will point out like, hey, it's getting shaky. This is a long trailing stop adjustment. So let's say you have your trailing stop in after you get into a trade. Once you kind of go with the trend there and then it starts dropping, it's going to let you know like, hey, it's time to tighten that stop loss. That way you can secure some profits. And that's what those are for. All those being very helpful when looking at a chart. But that's what's great about this add-on is you can see this whole way up. It's been a very strong trend. and that's why it's light green. And then it started getting overextended. And remember how I said, when it's overextended, there's a higher chance it's going to turn around. And that's kind of what it did right there. And then it's been pretty sideways since then. A part of this, you're also going to see a ribbon at the bottom that will basically let you know when the overall trend is bullish or bearish, the bias there. Even though the colors in the chart are changing colors, the trend ribbon down there is kind of more for perspective on probably a bigger picture or something. Like even though we're neutral over here, it's still overall bullish. So you can use that to help you gauge whether you want to get into a trade or not. So that's the trender chart. The other thing that I want to show you is the commentary. It does include a commentary window. Let me pull it up. Where did that go? Right here. Hold on. Okay, so don't need that. And I'll, you know, for those MetaStock users, we all know the commentary is awesome, especially when you're using trading systems, whether they're add-ons or systems in the software. For those of you that have not used MetaStock, the commentary window will explain what's happening on the chart. It's basically an expert advisor that just talks about, you know, what's going on. That way you can get a good idea. We're going to snap it over there. And we're going to go to the recent long entry signal that apparently occurred 2 days ago right here. And as you can see, it says it's strongly bullish, Apple, as of 2 days ago. And again, these are not recommendations for you guys to take any trades. I'm just showing you what the software can do for you and how these charts can help you and stuff. So don't take these as recommendations, please. But anyways, according to the commentary a few days ago on Apple, it said that it's been strongly bullish, indicating that it's likely to go higher. This can indicate that Apple will continue to move higher. Watch for signs that Apple Inc. may be losing energy, and you can do that with the tools like the overextended and so on and so forth. And that's kind of what the commentary goes through, and it has several different things that it'll talk about. So lots of very good information in there. Different signals will provide different commentary based on what's going on in the chart and just kind of guide you. So that's always nice to have. I myself, I don't typically use the commentary just because I'm very familiar with the system. So I already, you know, understand what I'm looking at with the commentary. It's great if you need some additional guidance. And now to kind of talk about what else you can do with the add-on, now that you've seen what a chart looks like and how you can identify the strength of a trend when it's falling, adjust stop losses, overextended trends. Now, what's great is you can scan for a few different things. You can scan for long entries. You can also scan for consolidation breakouts. They call them bull surges, I believe, which I actually like. I found it very interesting to see those. Those typically bring out some very good opportunities, because consolidation breakouts are well known. You know, you break that that resistance level, it's typically a breakout, and so you could look for those with this add-on here. So what I'm going to do is open up the Power Explorer, and we're going to go to the Exploration tab here, and then I want to show you the scans that come with this add-on here. So we got to go to MQ, and there's two. You'll see value charts as well. We're going to touch up on those in a little bit, but oops, I didn't mean to do that. The MQ Pro, the Trender Pro, you'll see we have bear surge breakout. These are kind of like the consolidation breakouts that I was talking about, where you can scan for something that was consolidated for 5 bars and then it broke downwards, and that's what this scan does. This one is is the same thing but for 10 bars. So you can find something that was just stuck sideways for 10 bars and then it broke downwards. And that's what those scans will be. You can scan for the new long entry signals, so those green arrows that I showed earlier. Bull surge, the bull surge and the bear surge, I believe that's when the I don't know, I said that. The color of the bar changes from like red to green. So it's like you went from bullish to bearish immediately, or vice versa. So this one would be changing to a green bar. And then you got the consolidation breakouts going upwards as well for 5 or 10 bars. Typically what I do is a long entry. When I use this, of course, you can use it in many different ways, but that's how I would typically look for them, is looking for the long entry signals. Okay, we're already 20 minutes in. I still have to show you value charts, and I want to show you how you can take advantage of using both of them together, because they can work really well. So let's move on to value charts. But before I do, can I get any questions from any of you guys that I can answer about Trender? I hope I touched up on everything. Okay, so I just want to.
Edward, are you monitoring YouTube chat, or do you want me to give you questions as they come?
No, actually, I'm not. Can you provide the questions for me?
I can.
I can
Currently,
go to YouTube
there are none.
if you
Scott Gow asked to see Apple, which you did. So currently, you're batting 100.
Oh, me and Scott were on the same wavelength here.
Yeah, I'll let you know if there's any questions over here whenever you ask if there's questions.
Okay, thank you, Greg. Okay, so let's move on to value charts. Now I want to show you the value indicator. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick with Apple, and we're going to apply different templates, which is going to be the value charts template. So I'm going to right click in the chart, click apply template, type in MQ because it starts with MQ, and we're going to apply value charts down here below. Okay. So first I want to just kind of take off the commentary. We'll move this commentary over. Oh, my mouse is kind of funky. Okay, so let me adjust these. I want them to be the same. I don't know why it's white, but I want to change the colors of the candlesticks. And you can do that, you guys, if you guys want to learn that little tip. Double click on one of the price bars, and then it'll open this menu. My up colors, I want green. My down days, I want red. Apply that, and then we got that. And then I also want to apply the black background. Right click in the chart, hover over inner window, click properties, and then see this white box right here, click that and change it to black. And now we have a similar, now the thing about this is it takes away the texts that are there saying that there's bullish pressure, bearish pressure, but that's about it. Oh, and Amit, I'm sorry, I didn't realize your question till now. Yes, the recordings will be available after the webinar completes, so you can rewatch it later. Absolutely. Okay. So I'm going to delete this momentum indicator because we already discussed that in Trender. I want to keep it more clean. So let's delete that. Oh, I'm going to click the X right here and click yes. That's what I do. Okay. So now we're going to discuss this value indicator here. As you mentioned, as you might remember, I said, if it's at the red on the bottom, that means it's significantly undervalued. And then if it's at red on the top, it means it's significantly overvalued, or in other words, extremely, because you can actually scan for stuff that are extremely and significantly. I believe yellow might be, no, because, so red is significantly and extremely. If you have red way up here, that's extremely overvalued. And then red in this area might be significantly overvalued. But anyways, so you can basically tell when to get into a trade based off of the value. That's what we're doing here, because when you're trading, the number one thing we try to do is get into a trade at the right time. That's one of the biggest questions. First, it's like, what am I going to trade? Second is, when do I get into the trade when I decide what I'm going to trade, right? And this is kind of helping that second step there. It helps you understand when to get into a trade. The scans, I'm going to show you that, is picking which ones you're going to get into. We'll go through that. But right now, all you need to know is this value indicator. Typically, if you're trying to trade between like on a sideways market, you'll be able to identify what the market is. But after you identify whether it's sideways, trending up, trending down, you can decide the best times to get in with this. When you're trending up, let's see, let me try to show you here. So now that we just know that, when you're trying to go long, get in when it's undervalued. When you're trying to go short, get in when it's overvalued. You can also exit when it's undervalued and you go up to overvalued. That's good profit taking points as well. So what I wanted to show you with the trending market, when we're moving up, you can see this right here. Let's draw this line. Let's look at this trend. Okay, good ways, like we understand that it's moving up, it's a good trend. And we want to get into it at good times because, it's always unfortunate to get in at tops and then it falls and it just kind of shakes you up a little bit, gets you a little emotional. Happens to us all. This value indicator will let us know when to get in. Look at this. I'm going to circle. Okay, after we understand that we're in
upward trend. Look at that bar. And I hope you guys can see these okay. Let me try to maybe make that white. That would probably be better. So this white circle right here, now that corresponds with this right there. Understanding that you are reaching a very undervalued price point will allow you to know to get in at that if you're in an uptrend. So it's good for buying into dips. But you can see that after buying in right there, it shoots up. It was a great time to get in. And then look at this. You can see this right here. Let me make that white. I'm sorry for all these little menus and stuff. I just want to make sure you guys can see this. I mean, these tools can be so helpful. That is when you would have gotten out of the trade typically. I mean, of course, you can make your own rules, but the point is you can use these tools to find the best spots to get in and to take profits. And that's kind of what this helps you with. Now, value charts is a very, very good add-on for finding entry points and exit points. One of the harder things that I've learned to do, that I found that it's harder to do, is to identify trends. As new traders or even current traders, it's always a bit tough to identify a trend, of course, because you're not predicting the future. You're just trying to state whether you're in an uptrend now, if you're shifting to an uptrend. And that's kind of what their momentum indicator is for. It helps you identify what the trend is. But that's where I want to bring Trender into the mix. Trender identifies trends for you. You can understand where when you're in a very bullish market or a very bearish market or even neutral. So you can actually combine the two to get in at good times and identify the trend for you. So now what I'm going to do is I am going to put both of them together and show you that you can put them together on a chart to help find the best trades. Now I'm going to still use Apple for now. We're going to apply a template because I actually made a template for this webinar here. I have a different one that is that's like two charts side by side, but I learned that I can apply them on one chart, and then that's a little bit easier. Okay. And you know what? Before I actually jump over there, I just realized one of the things I did also want to talk about on this chart, because this also has an expert advisor, and you'll notice above the price bars, there's going to be yellow dots and then red dots below, above, and all that stuff. That's basically an indication of the same value indicator. So a smaller yellow dot is showing, if you look at, okay, let's draw a circle here. If you're going to look at this yellow dot right here that I just circled, I hope all you can see that. Let me make it white. You're going to look at that yellow dot. That's going to be for this little push into the yellow down here. And that's why it's a smaller yellow dot. The bigger the yellow dot, the bigger push into the yellow. Same goes with red. So you don't even necessarily need to use the value indicator. You could just look for these dots and make decisions based off of that, or get information based off of that. But I like to look at the value indicator. I'm used to it. And that's what those dots are for. The arrows are to grab your attention. Those little kind of diagonal arrows that are red, those are to grab your attention and let you know, like, hey, there's some pressure on right here where it has a possibility to turn back around because it's starting to become overvalued. And that's what that means. And you could see as soon as it happened, it did reverse a little bit, even though it was just a tiny bit, but you'll notice that a lot. When you have these big pressures, these bearish pressures, they typically fall a little bit. Sometimes, in other cases, they fall a lot. The other thing I forgot to touch up on value charts, because I'm so excited to just show you guys how it can be very beneficial to use both of them, kind of rushed ahead. But value charts also has its own trading system. Where it provides, it's not a full trading system. It's like it provides great entry points, and they can be long term. They don't happen quite as often as you can see, but they typically are very powerful. I am going to bring up a momentum indicator, or you know what? I have the other chart. I want to show you the
how those buy and sell signals with value charts occur. So let's open up this one. Let me apply the value charts indicator or expert advisor so we can just, you know what, let's not do it that way. Okay, I have 3 charts here. So this one. This one's trender. Okay, if this one isn't it, I'm just gonna, okay, here. I'm going to open or apply the template again. That way we get our MQ indicator back, because I want to show you how these signals get applied. Oh, and I did the wrong one on accident. I guess while we're kind of going through this, if anyone has questions, let me know. Value charts. Hey there, Alexander. I will go over the price here shortly. I actually do have some webinar specials that I'm going to explain where you can buy them together, buy one separately. We'll go through that shortly here though, Alexander. So stay tuned. The webinar isn't going to be for much longer, so we'll get there shortly. Okay.
No questions over here, Edward.
Okay. All right. Thank you. So now let's discuss these buy and sell signals with value charts. This one was a really awesome one, as you guys can see. This one right here by my cursor. What it does is it takes this momentum indicator, and basically there's a fast line and a slow line. The fast line is the solid line. The slow line is the dotted line, much like the MACD. When you go from like a downtrend and everything's pointing downwards, and then as soon as everything starts pointing upwards, that's typically like kind of an indication like, okay, we might be reversing right now. Second indication is, and I'm going to mark this line so we can keep on point here. Okay, so keep following that line. So we got the momentum indicator moving up. Everything's starting to move up right there, the slow line and the fast line. Second, we went from undervalued and then we moved up to fair valued. So again, we're bouncing on the value, we're bouncing on momentum, and based on those, it gives you a signal, a buy signal, when everything lines up just right. And as you can see, it worked out pretty well. You can then decide to get into trades on dips, take profits whenever you want. Of course, these tools are going to be yours, and it's discretionary how you use them. You find out what works for you. But that's kind of how those signals work. One of the things that I know MicroQuant suggests with like these signals is you always want to have stop losses in place. You guys protect yourself because nothing is going to be 100% correct. So apply stop losses maybe above the signal line or below it. Just that way, if it's incorrect, you're not going to lose a whole bunch of profits, but those correct ones are going to be getting you a bunch of profits. And that's kind of the idea here, as far as I know that they suggest. But yeah, so you could see how even if you, let's say like this signal, this at the top of the trend here, there was a sell signal based on momentum falling down and value going from overpriced, overvalued, sorry, moving downwards back to undervalued. It provided the signal. If you would have put a stop loss in there, you would have had a pretty good fall. And that's how these value charts can be used alone as well. So with the value, you could identify the trend, get into dips, so on and so forth. You can also use the momentum indicator that they have built for this with value to get those buy and sell signals. And you can scan for these buy and sell signals too. And I'll hurry up and show you all the value chart scans. Okay, so originally I showed you the trender scans. Now for value charts, we have the extremely overvalued, extremely undervalued. And then we have significantly overvalued and significantly undervalued. And then on top of that, you have the buy signals and the sell signals that you can scan for. So you can use the system however you prefer. And what you'd want to do is, of course, give it time and figure out your favorite way of using this and how you can implement it with your trading. On top of that, there is commentary. And let me pull that commentary over and attach it. Okay, so the commentary is basically going to discuss kind of what the indicator is doing itself. We're on a random day. Let me just go to the very front day. Right now, the commentary is saying that it's overvalued at the bar close. So right now the price is overvalued is what it's saying. Not providing recommendations on what to do here, but showing you that this indicator is saying that it's overvalued. It'll give you some commentary on if you're considering buying or selling or even holding. It'll kind of give you insights on what you can do with the value indicator here and based on momentum. And that's kind of what value charts is itself. So yeah, trender that shows you trend strengths, different bar colors, and then you have value charts that is more about value put together with momentum to find great entry points and signals and stuff. One of the other things I like about the momentum indicator is it's great at divergences. One thing I've noticed, like when momentum starts falling and stuff, and you're getting bearish divergences, and the value indicator is showing you're extremely overvalued, sometimes you might find good reversal indications there, and you're going to be part of the right side of the trade, making great profits. And you can see that over here, this momentum indicator, price still kept moving up. And in fact, it kind of stayed sideways, but got up a little higher. But during that, momentum kept falling and falling and falling. Look how far momentum fell. Right here, where I'm kind of circling, price stayed sideways, yet momentum died. And those are typically good indications. That's very well known that, hey, price is most likely going to follow momentum, just so you're aware. And then you could start looking for short opportunities and stuff like that. So being able to combine all these, very helpful. Now that I kind of went over the rest of value charts like I should have originally, let's get over to that template that shows both of them combined and how you can actually look at charts together. So I'm going to close this. I'm going to close this one. Let's close out some of these charts. Okay, here we are. I'm gonna take out this commentary here. I don't think we need it. I just want to show you how we can combine both systems. Okay. So like I said, when dealing with trends and stuff, first you always want to identify a trend, right? That's what a very well-known thing. What is the trend? How do you identify a trend? Higher lows and higher highs, or lower lows and lower highs, up or down, up an uptrend or a downtrend. Second thing is sideways as well. But anyways, then when you get into the trade, because we don't want to just rush when it's super high, that typically is as far as what they say, you want to get in at the right times. And that's what we're going to do, all of that with this one template right here. That includes the two indicators, momentum and value, and it includes the trend bias, letting you know whether it's strongly bullish and stuff. So when we know that we're in a very strong bullish trend here, we want to look for those entry dip points, or even fairly valued if you want. As you can see right here, I'm going to circle it. We're still, even after this, so you see this yellow, it's telling you to adjust stop losses in case it starts turning around. The yellow arrow, that is. But this could be a great entry point as well to go higher, and we can see that the value it's undervalued. So we could take that opportunity. Once we see that value start moving back up, you can get in anywhere within there and start moving up with it, protect your trades, so on and so forth. But the idea here is to get in at the dips, and we would identify when there's a dip because we know we're in a strong bullish trend. And we know with this indicator down here, we can see when it's undervalued, and that's when it's dipping. So those would be our entries. We would want to enter in this bottom indicator area as long as the trend is stronger. And that's how you can use that. That's one way to use it. Same for going downwards. We know we're in a bullish trend. Let me back up a little bit here. And it's a very small bullish trend, but there was some reversals there apparently from that big trend. But you can buy in on pullbacks to the upside. And look, it's neutral. That's fine. We're not bearish or we're not bullish. If we're bullish, we don't want to go short, right? That's a good rule to have, I guess. Something that Dr. Elder mentions, and I actually really like that. But anyways, this could be a good entry to go short. We knew we were in a very bearish trend, spiked up a little bit, still neutral, so we could take that as a short opportunity if you'd want to. That's probably something I would have done if I was trading short on Apple, or if I was looking to. But then you can see that after you understood that prices are getting overvalued, we're in kind of a neutral / bearish trend, good shorting entry, and it fell pretty hard. So that's works for both sides. When we're sideways, like let's say right now, this is one of my favorite, I love trading sideways markets because it's so easy to identify value points entering at the value with this value indicator. So check this out. Okay, so we understand we're sideways after a couple, it starts becoming, when you can make a channel, when you see these blue bars and it's kind of going back up and down, that's a good time to maybe look at the value indicator and just get in when go long, when it's very undervalued, and then take profits when it gets to overvalued. Sometimes you're going to get trades that are huge profits like that. Other times they'll be a little bit smaller, but you're still going to understand that you're getting in at undervalued and then you're getting out at overvalued. So this trade right here, you would have gone up, 15 points, it looks like, 10 to 15 points off of that one trade. Wait for it to go back down, which it looks like very shortly right here on this bar, it went back down, but then you can get back in, you're undervalued. That's what typically you'd want to do. And then look at that. Bam, sell over here. That looks like it's another 10 points at least. Yeah, about 12 more points going upwards. And so that's how you can use this stuff sideways as well. You can pair them together to look to identify the trend, scan for long signals, look at the value indicator, look at the momentum, make sure there's no divergences going against what you want to trade, and then you can make trading decisions off there. Now, if you're somebody that intraday trades, this is also another really good point, or another good helpful tip. When you're day trading, this is a daily chart we've been looking at. You can actually pull up an hourly chart after you find a signal on a daily chart. I would look up look for a long entry on a daily. Let's say we found one and then we go to the hourly chart. The hourly chart with the value indicator is a great indication on when you can get in too. So let's say we had an entry signal. We don't want to just get in at any time. We could look at the value indicator now and wait for that hourly to drop down to the undervalued. That way we're getting at a great price just to give more profits. One thing you can do is you can have the value indicator opened up side by side separately on a different chart, and you can have a daily chart up and then the hourly chart where the value indicator is the only thing you see, and you're just watching that value indicator on an hourly basis, waiting for it to drop after you get your signal on the daily chart. That's another way you could get into trades. Now, I'm going to show you a recent trade that I did, and this isn't a recommendation to get into the trade. The trade was already completed. It was finished based on this same exact process that I've been showing you today. I'm going to pull up a chart. And then after, I want you guys to give me a chart to pull up. But let's pull up a chart. If I can, 1 second. All my windows like to go to the other screen. Okay, so I'm going to pull up DIN. We're going to play the smart chart game where it's going to the smart chart. Let me go to my template. What was it? Webinar. Okay. So I actually recently got into a decent trade by using this type of setup right here. And this isn't a recommendation. The trade's complete. I don't look at this anymore after this, but I want to give you guys a real life example. And you know, when you're trading in real life, it's much more different experience than just hearing and trying to see a chart and stuff, right? But so I'm saying that because I want you to understand that it's always scary to get into a trade. You're hoping you're always right, but using the right tools, you can feel a lot better. Now, you're going to see that there was a signal here, right here, which I scanned for. I was able to use the scanner to scan for that, and I located that. Now, I applied the value indicator with that, and when we go down here, you're going to see, let me circle that, the value indicator bounced. You see how it was extremely overvalued, and then the value dropped. And we got to, you can barely see it, but there's yellow right there. If I extend this, you'll see it better. You can see this little yellow little mark at the end there, but that was, it became undervalued, and then it bounced up and started moving up to a fair value. So what I did is I paired those two pieces of information together, and I said, look, we're getting a long, so basically the trend was bullish on that day, getting a long signal, and it had hit an undervalued place, and then sorry, this is the one I jumped on. It was this day, so not the one with the yellow, but I noticed that the one with the yellow, it bounced after that. And then I got in, of course, on the signal day. But then the next day, look how much it jumped. You know, and I got out of the trade winning about up in this price point. I held onto it for a little longer. But the trade is complete. Don't take trades off of this. This is just a real life example of how I put the two together to get into a trade, and it spiked up. So that was a nice one. And there's many more that can happen like that. You could apply these systems with other trading signals too. But that kind of goes to show that you can combine these systems there to look for good trading opportunities, when to get in based on value, trend strength, and all of that. Now, we have about 15 minutes left. I'd like to look at least one or two charts. Can anyone recommend a chart for me? Anybody, don't be shy. Let's delete this pattern.
Edward,
If not, I'll
over here is throwing out a recommendation, but I always, I'd like to see RCL, which is where the
okay. Thank you, Greg. RCL. Oh, and it's going to go to, I don't know why it's doing this. It's pulling up smart charts. I think I have smart charts selected in my chart tab. That's why. Okay, let's look at RCL. Oh, I got some recommendations in chat over here, so we'll hurry up and go over RCL. So yeah, here you go. You can identify trends in RCL right here. Good entry points. One thing that I did want to mention too that I kind of found for myself is there's this long entry signal over here saying, look, it's trending. Okay, look at the value indicator. It's extremely overvalued. Now, of course, the trend can continue to move up. Typically, that'll happen if it's going to continue, but you can use that as an opportunity. Like, okay, I found a trade right here. I'm going to watch it, and I want to get in when it's undervalued or fair valued. Okay, so you can wait for a little bit of a pullback just to get a little bit more profits. So whenever I do scans for long entries, I don't typically jump in when the value is extremely overvalued. I will look for something like the one I showed you on DIN, where it's in fair valued on that long entry signal, and it just bounced from undervalued. So that's kind of what I look like, but I just wanted to show that. You can keep this in mind. Yeah, of course.
Also, George, on the YouTube side, when you have a second, would like to see Tesla.
Tesla, yes, definitely. Let's see. So we can take this bearish really quick right here. You could take that, for example, get in shorts when it's extended, when it's moving back up into overvalued. We are still considered in a kind of a bearish trend right there, right? We haven't really seen some change to greenish. So you could consider short trades there and stuff like that. Now let's look at Tesla. And then I have another one for ZM and Best Buy, and I will do those next, Patrick. Let's look at Tesla really quick. And I got to play the apply template game. Typically, it doesn't do this, you guys. My apologies. I don't know what's going on. Seems to always have technical difficulties when running in webinars. I don't know why, but it never fails. Okay, so this is interesting. This is actually an awesome chart to look at with what Trender can do. You'll notice that there's a lot of bullishness, but then trends get overextended, and you can see that typically starts to reverse on those overextended areas. It's not guaranteed, not 100%, but you can see the little pattern right there that's been happening. There is good, like for this buy signal right here, that was on an overvalued right there. So I would have probably waited for a pullback on something like that and then got in. I don't want to like recommend any trades or anything, but stuff like this is what you would want to look out for. You know, we're in a big trend, we're pulling back. Stuff like that is what you can identify with high probability that things reverse when it hits that undervalued state. It could be something that I would consider looking into, definitely. That's a good consideration right there. Even as of today, maybe, you know, do some more analysis on that. I don't know, but that was a good chart to look at. Now let's look at ZM. Let's see, I'm going to guess it's Zoom. Oh, very good. Oh, I forgot. I got to play this template game. Luckily, you can have like 100 charts open, because there's a lot back there. Okay, so we got ZM, Zoom. Interesting. Okay, so with this one, as you can see, it looks like we've been kind of in a downward trend. You can see based on the trender colors there. Even though moving up, it's still neutral. It still hasn't pushed to that bullish phase. So you want to kind of be cautious about going long, even though it's moving up. Wait till things turn green or you get signals kind of thing. But those could also be good opportunities for shorts, because we're not necessarily bullish yet. We're neutral, but when you're in a trend, things are going to pull back typically like this. And so, of course, it might start to look neutral, but that could be a good opportunity for a short, which would be like right here. That happened recently, and it would have been a good pick, because you can see that in the extreme, or it was like significantly overvalued. It did tank after that. So you can find these good entry points. Again, I'm going to say it again, and also for those that use the real-time software, you can pinpoint your entries with an hourly chart after getting these signals. Let's see, I want to find another good point here. Okay. I'm not finding any of the things that I typically like. But anyways, yeah, so there's Zoom. Now let's go to Best Buy. And keep in mind, with these huge trends, these huge bullish trends, the value indicator is awesome for locating dips. I haven't been going through that too much with these, but there's just so much you can do with these. It's hard to hit everything, but applying them together it's really awesome. Okay, a couple things that I'm noticing on Best Buy is right now it looks like there's some bearish divergences going on with momentum. So, you know, going long, it could be a little scary knowing that when divergences typically correct themselves and price can follow those pretty well. But also it looks like we're finally going bearish according to right here. So might want to keep your eye looking for short opportunities after some pullbacks and stuff. That's how I'd look at this one. Yeah, overall looks good. Other than that, it looks like it might be going bearish though. But yeah, that's kind of what that looks like on that chart. Again, good entries, find the dips. You can see when you're in a strong trend, jump into trades that are super bullish, go into extremely or significantly undervalued, and jump in and then ride it to the top. Yeah, no problem, Patrick. That's basically what I have for you today. We're running out of time. I did run some scans for like S&P long signals today, but there's not too much time left. It's basically going to show you the same thing, and I was going to try to match it with the value indicator. But do you guys have any other questions for me regarding either of the systems? Is there anything you feel like I missed, Greg, that you know of? Or
no, it all looked very good to me. There are no more additional questions.
Okay. I guess one other thing that I can think of is the value indicator does also provide divergences too. So not only the momentum indicator, but you can find bearish and bullish divergences in value. There's one that I just lined, and we can compare that with up here. And of course, combine that with extended and look at the fall after. See, yeah, price followed the value shortly after. That's another little tool. So combining all these tools together, you guys can find great opportunities, breakouts, perfect times on when to get into trends. You can identify what the trend is. If you're having a hard time as a newer trader, use Trender to help you identify what the trend is. So let's jump back over to the PowerPoint. I want to go over some specials with you guys and to see if there's any remaining questions after that. And then that'll sum up the day. See, this is the slide that I forgot, which is the momentum indicator that I was showing you. And I guess that's one other thing I forgot to point out. So look how much I'm forgetting is the histogram. That's the power of momentum. So if it's green, you can see how powerful it's going up. Red, you can see a small push going down versus big power, stuff like that. So if you buy the Trender add-on, you're going to get, all those indicators, those expert advisors, the explorations of the bullish and the bearish explorations, the breakouts, and then all the templates as well. There's different templates where you can combine like weekly and daily on the same chart, and then also monthly, weekly, and daily. And then there's a white and a black background type of chart. So you can choose your better ones, the ones you prefer. With the value charts, you're going to, of course, get the value indicator with the momentum indicator, the 6 different explorations, the experts, and the templates. Now, typically, these add-ons are $1,495 as a one-time cost each. If you have an interest in buying just one of them, today you can get $500 off, making it $995 for one of them. And just give me a call if you want any of them. But I want to show you guys a special that I was able to push my manager into letting me doing. He was very thoughtful. It's the holidays, right? He's being, we like to call him Meta Claus. But as the webinar special, if you buy them together, you can get both of them at just $12.95. That's huge. One of them is $14.95 at the retail rate. You can get both of them today for $12.95. And if you haven't used MetaStock before and you want to start using these type of charts, call me. I can help you. I'll go over to my contact details on the next slide, but I want to iterate that this is a special that's valid only until Friday. Beyond Friday, I can't offer this anymore. So if you do want to jump on this, make sure you contact me today, tomorrow, or by Friday. And then I can give you both of these for $12.95 total. These are my contact details. Call me right now if you can. Leave a voicemail or send me an email. You can even ask for Edward in the sales chat and I'll be happy to help you. But again, make sure to call me so you can get this special. Great special. You ain't going to find it anywhere else better than that. I mean, on any other days or sales days. I believe even for like Black Friday, both of them are 50% off. So you get both of them for about the price of one. So great price. Let me know if you guys want the package. Give me a call or email me. And for those that have one or the other, you can buy the second one for $4.99 today as well. So if you have value charts already, buy Trender for $4.99. Or if you have Trender already, buy value charts for $4.99. I didn't depict that here, but give me a call if you want the other one as well. So again, here's my contact details. Feel free to ask questions. We have a couple minutes. I'm happy to answer any other questions. We can go back to the chart really quick if you need me to.
Edward, I don't see any questions over here. Before you close, I would like to remind people that they can come back right here in about 2 hours to see the second half of our double feature webinar day, which is Peter Dalal talking about Magic Trader. In the meantime, Edward, that was a great presentation. Thank you very much. Remember, everyone, he can be reached at edward.stemplevich@metastock.com or 800-587-8062 or MetaStock-sales chat.
There you go. And once again, you guys, $12.95. This can easily help you guys with your trading. I know it because I found some awesome trades with it, and you can too. So don't hesitate. Let's get you going. Give me a phone call. Thank you, everybody, for watching today. I appreciate you taking the time out of your day. I'm going to cut this webinar, and I hope to hear from a few of you guys. I'm happy to help you get set up.
Thank you,
Thank you so much, Greg.
Thank you, Edward. Great job.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.